down BK Sport. We are back for another Premier League predictions video. We didn't actually do a tipping video last week, but last week we did do our season predictions. Now, we're actually going to be doing weekly predictions for each individual game. I love my Premier League. Obviously, as you guys can see below me, they're the streams that we're going to be doing this weekend, and we'll be chatting with you guys live as the games are going to be a crazy, crazy weekend here on the channel. We've got so much to do. However, I've got this new series coming up here every single week where I'm going to be predicting each individual game. Funny thing is that the Premier League is so difficult to read. Like, usually you can tell with Liverpool or City or Chelsea or I'm not going to use United anymore, my goodness me, against Brighton. But that even proves it right there in itself in the first game week that everyone thought United would easily win, and they lost to Brighton. Wowee. At Old Trafford too, wasn't at the Amex, it was at Old Trafford as well. You go to the Liverpool game, they went to Craven Cottage, newly promoted Fulham side, and drew 2-2 there. It just shows how crazy the Premier League can be in regards to results you just didn't expect to come. So very difficult, very difficult to predict in regards to this league. But that's the fun of it. That's the fun of it, and obviously that's why we get to the final day, and there's still jostling for positions at the relegation zone, and potentially even like last season, and the last couple of seasons, jostling at the top end of the table, top four. So it's exciting, and I'm very excited for this year. But let's get into the predictions here for today, guys. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. If you love your Premier League action, we're really going to be smashing out content for the Premier League this year, plus also the World Cup and maybe some A-League as well. So definitely hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, and I hope to see you on the streams this week. But the first game here today, guys, we've got Aston Villa going up against Everton at Villa Park. I'm actually here behind me. I'm at Villa Park right now, and Aston Villa are the favourites here. Now, this is a tough one to predict because obviously before the season started, people were starting to hype up Villa again. Last season, they brought in a few players. I didn't believe the hype. There was a lot of people saying they're going to be a top 10 team, and it didn't happen for them last year. I think they came 13th or 14th. And I'm actually starting to believe that they're probably in for another season like that. Villa just somewhat don't know how to click it all together. They have brought in a lot of players. They have brought in all these guys that look like they're going to be stars in this club. And Bailey, I thought Bailey was going to do well. Obviously struggled in game week 1 against Bournemouth. Geez, they lost to Bournemouth, who I've got relegated. Most people have relegated, yeah. But in the same sense, you've also got to go back and think, okay, it was 1 week. It was 1 week. We can't bite too much off on one single result. Because if you do that, then Liverpool have no chance to win the Premier League this season because they drew to Fulham, right? So you can't bite too much off on 1 week of football. However, they're going up against Everton here, who didn't do too badly against Chelsea. Have a pretty decent defence, I would probably say, but their attack is a shambles this year. You know, Dominic Calvert-Lewin's still not back yet. They don't really have a pure striker or a pure attacker there that really threatens most of these Premier League clubs. And yeah, look, I struggle to see them scoring too many this game. So I am actually going to go with Aston Villa here. I do still doubt them in regards to, that should click at some point. I do still doubt them in regards to long-term this season, Aston Villa. I don't know if they're going to live up to the hype that people thought pre-season. In regards to, you know, potentially finishing top 10 again, which didn't happen last year. But I'll take Villa at Villa Park. I think they'll bounce back here, and I'll go 2-1. I don't know what this is, but we'll click 1 there. So it'll be a 1-goal game, 2-1 to the Villa. Next up here, let's move on to the Emirates Stadium as we see Arsenal taking on Leicester. Now, if you're in England, guys, and you see the date there at 12 AM, and 2:30 AM, you'll see in a second, that's because I'm in Australia, right? So that's our time zone. That's why it really does suck our time zones compared to you guys. But the first game well, they're all at the same time here, Arsenal versus Leicester. This is actually not as easy to predict as you think because Arsenal are going to be good this year. I feel like Arsenal are a top 4 team. Still a few kinks to work out. I think that the game against Crystal Palace was actually probably their most difficult game of the lot to start this season. Yes, I think Crystal Palace was a tougher game than what Leicester is going to, what Leicester's going to be. Because I don't think Leicester is the same team that it has been in the previous couple of years. Arsenal obviously won 2-0 against Crystal Palace. Gabriel Jesus didn't actually get a goal there, which a lot of fantasy owners were spewing about. I think 74% of people owned Gabriel Jesus, which I found crazy. And that's why I didn't go for Gabriel Jesus, as you can see in yesterday's Fantasy Premier League video. But look, Arsenal are a good team, and they probably should win this game. But you go to Leicester, and look, they weren't anything spectacular. I think they drew 2-2 with Brentford last week. They weren't anything spectacular, and I really don't know about them this season. They could struggle for top 10. There are improved teams like Newcastle. There are, you know, still the big boys of City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham. Plus, also you've got to add in United. And you've also got a few other teams that are really pushing right now, but the main one there is Newcastle to potentially go above them there. Look, it's a tough game to read here. I'm actually going to go with 2-2. I'm going to go a crazy thing here. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I think Arsenal's defense can still be a bit of a shambles, and that's the biggest issue for them this season. I know that they've got Zinchenko now, who I've brought into my fantasy team, so I'm kind of frustrated that I'm going to draw here, and a 2-2 scoring draw as that is. The only reason I'm going this is just because I feel like Leicester can still score. And Vardy, this could be his last season, but every year we say this is his last year, and he just keeps getting goals. So I think they'll still be able to score a couple of goals here. And Arsenal definitely should be able to score a couple of goals. And I do believe that Gabriel Jesus will probably get a goal here, and I probably would say it'll be first goal scorer there. So I would love to be proven wrong here. I would love for Arsenal to win 2-3-0 with Zinchenko bagging an assist or a goal for my fantasy, plus also getting that clean sheet. But I just feel like Leicester will have enough about them to give them a good go here. But then we will see Arsenal get a bit of a move along after this. I don't know. I don't know what I feel like here. Draws are tough to predict in this league because obviously you want to tip a winner either side. But a lot of the time, it's just not going to be possible. So even at the Emirates, I'm taking a draw here. I'm going to say 2-2. Next up here, we go to the Amex, which is Brighton and Hove Albion taking on Newcastle United. Wowee, this is a hard game to predict here. Brighton got to an absolute flying start by taking down Man United there. That was actually a pretty convincing win for them. It was comfortable at the Old Trafford. It wasn't too tough at all, actually. I know Rashford had that opportunity that could have made it 2-2. And I know that United did have their opportunities, but I didn't really feel threatened by United at any stage for Brighton. I think they were well and truly the better team there. And they're at the Amex, which they're a very good defensive side, man. This is a very, very tough game to read. I don't know about the odds, though. I think that $2.43 to $3 or so for Newcastle, it should be even. It should be like $2.70, $2.75 each, in my personal opinion. Because Newcastle, they're going to improve. You know, they're looking to buy Leroy Sané right now. They're looking to buy a whole heap of guys before the transfer window. They're not the finished product just yet, but they have the absolute ability to win this game. And I think that they actually do. I'm going to tip Newcastle here. I think United were just that bad. They were really, really poor. They didn't have a striker up front. They played false nine. And for me, I feel like that result is more down to Man United. You know, do think it is to Brighton, and that just shows the shambles that club is right now. And I really do believe in Newcastle getting a top 10 finish this year. I think I had them for 8th or even 7th, maybe 8th I think I had them for, which is a much improved season for Newcastle, and I do genuinely believe in their future. So I'm going to take the tune here. Really looking forward to what they can provide this year. Look for St. Maximin in this game, because I believe he had a few shots in that first one, but just wasn't able to lock it down. And yeah, I'll take Newcastle there. Next up here, still at the same time zone on Sunday night for me, but on Saturday for you, is going to be, well, Saturday night, 12 p.m, 12 a.m. Sunday. There you go. See, I'm confused myself. But you move to the Etihad Stadium, where Man City take on Bournemouth. I think this was pretty simple here, guys. I'm going to be collecting on Man City there. But you won't be collecting much because they're paying like $1.07 to win that game. Erling Haaland, he looked absolutely fantastic. He looked fantastic in the Community Shield, even though he didn't score, and he looked fantastic as he scored 2 goals on debut for City away to West Ham. Now, I said this on my Instagram the other day. Sergio Aguero, when he came into the league, scored 2 goals for City on debut against Swansea at the Etihad. Now, Swansea, newly promoted team, not the greatest of tough teams to come up against, but he had an absolutely fantastic debut. Erling Haaland has just done the exact same thing, but against a tougher team in West Ham who are predicting a top 10 finish this season. Plus, it was also at the Olympic Stadium. It was also in London, not in Manchester. So, things are really looking up for this club. Things are really looking up for Erling Haaland, and that's the reason why 1 million people in fantasy have brought in Haaland ahead of this fixture here against Bournemouth. However, Bournemouth did beat Aston Villa. They did win that game. I think it was 2-1. So, the 37-1 is crazy odds, though. Like, 37-1 is wild odds. I get it, though. I do understand it. But that's a really big odds market, considering we all know what the Premier League can be like. Bournemouth might not be as bad as we all predicted pre-season, but they're not going to be winning this game at the Etihad. They're not going to be winning the first game of the season at the Etihad with the way that Erling Haaland plays. Honestly, he could score a hat-trick here. He could. So I'll go Man City, and I'm going to say 4-0. I'm going to say 4-0. I think they will convincingly win this game, but Bournemouth might not be as bad as we all thought. But there is still a massive gap between the two teams. Okay, so we've got 2 games left here of those midday games on the Saturday for you guys in England. And this one is St Mary's Stadium for Southampton versus Leeds United. Now, this is hard because both these teams predicted pre-season were missing, or were getting relegated. And Leeds won their first game. Southampton convincingly lost their first game 4-1 to Tottenham. But Southampton are the favourites here, which I find quite interesting. I don't know about that. I think it should be very even odds here. I know it's at St Mary's, but Southampton don't really have too much about them. I know they led 1-0 at one stage. I know that they, gave it a go at the start before Tottenham just absolutely destroyed them without even really utilising Son or Harry Kane there. They just absolutely picked him off without those guys. But I find this really interesting because I think Leeds impressed in their first game while Southampton did not impress. I'm going to take the underdog here. I'm going to take Leeds to win this game. This actually could have draw written all over it too, to be fair. It could have a 1-1 draw written all. You know what? I'm going to go draw. I'm going to go draw. If you want to go the Leeds or draw option, that's a good shout too. But I'm going to go draw here because I feel like both these teams are relatively even. Pre-season, they were both predicted to be relegated. Well, not Leeds necessarily. Southampton definitely were, but Leeds were maybe just kind of tinkering around that 17, 16, 15 kind of spot. And some people had them in the relegation zone. They're going to be a really young team now. But I'm going to go draw here. I think they'll both, maybe 1-1. I'll go 1-1 here, to be fair. Next up here, we go to the Wolverhampton Wanderers, the Wolves at the Molineux against Fulham here. Now, with this one, I predicted Wolves to be relegated. I had the Wolves in 18, and they definitely did not surprise me with how poor they played on the weekend. I can't remember who they played. Who did they play? Wolves might have been Leeds, actually. Might have been Leeds, I can't remember. But the Wolves really disappointed on the weekend, and they've got no real fluidity about their team as we currently speak. I'm really disappointed in how the Wolves have transgressed, and obviously they are favourites here against Fulham, and Fulham did draw 2-2 with Liverpool. But then again, I wouldn't expect that too much. I think that was just a bit of a surprise result. Liverpool came in thinking they'd already won the game. Of course they did. And then Fulham surprised with Mitrovic. Mitrovic is a good player, but I will say this as well, though, is that Fulham pressed Liverpool quite well. Like, they were very, very pressing. They knew exactly what to do here. Whilst the Wolves didn't really show too much oomph about them. There was not a great deal of oomph about them. And they're still on a massive losing streak right now, guys. They lost the first game of the season this year, and they lost like 8 games to finish off the season last year. They are still on this losing streak. They've gone into this losing funk that we see with teams. When you start losing a bit, you get used to losing, and then it keeps going. I think at Molineux, you'd expect the Wolves to win here, but I'm gonna tip the Wolves to break their streak. No, you know what? I'm gonna take Fulham. I'm gonna take Fulham to surprise here. A draw could be on the cards again here for Fulham, to be fair, considering that it is at the Molineux. But I like Mitrovic, man. I really do. I like what Mitrovic provides. Obviously at Newcastle and now at Fulham. He's experienced in the Premier League and scored a goal. Was it 2 goals? He definitely scored a goal against Liverpool. It could actually be got 2, but I know that he definitely did score against Liverpool. So I think they've got enough attack in them, and I think they'll be able to break down the Wanderers. Yeah, I call them, everyone calls them Wolves. So it's quite funny that they've got Wolverhampton Wanderers here. Haven't heard them called that for a long time. But it's there, so that's why I got confused. But yeah, I'll take Fulham there, and I'll take a 3-1. I'll take a 3-1 Fulham. That's a big result though, considering they're the underdogs. I'll take a 3-1 Fulham. Honestly, it's gonna be a good game there. It's gonna be a good game there for Fulham. I'm just backing them a little bit. I had them, I think, for 19th pre-season, but I'm just impressed with how they play against Liverpool. It's not necessarily a result. It's just that I was impressed with the way they played and adapted when Liverpool changed up. Now, next game here is the young game on Sunday. Late game on Sunday for you in England. Brentford versus Man United at the Community Stadium. Wow. United were that bad. They were that bad. They were that bad. And they come up against Brentford, who did surprise. They were not predicted to do too well this season. They surprised their first game with a draw. And I could see Brentford beating United here. But I think Man United will change their tactics. I don't think they'll go with a false 9. I think they'll put Cristiano Ronaldo back into the striker role, because obviously they had no striker. They played false nine with Ericsson, which was the worst thing they could do. I'm going to back them in here. I'm going to say surely they win this. Surely they win this, Man United. I don't care if they win this. I don't even necessarily want them to win it, but surely they win it. You have to put Ronaldo back in. Even though there's a shambles about what's going on right now, you cannot play false nine. If you're going to put Rashford up front, then so be it. He should have had a goal, obviously, against Brighton, but he's a muppet and missed that one from right in front. It was saved, but it should have been put away there easily. Surely United win this. I give Brentford a chance for a draw, and I do give Brentford a chance to do them over here at the Community Stadium. I think I've gone with a lot of the underdogs here, so I've got to kind of be a little bit safe with some of these. But it's the beginning part of the season, guys. It's the beginning part of the season, and bookies are still trying to figure out the market in regards to what teams are good, what teams are bad, what the fans are saying, what fans are not saying, and also what they're thinking. So, yeah, I'll go United here, and surely they don't disappoint there. Okay. We move on to the City Ground for Nottingham Forest getting their first home game here against... Actually, did they play home in the first one? Did they play at home in the first one? Let me have a quick little look-ski here. Let me go to Premier League. And no, they played at St. James Park. That's right. They played at St. James Park. Didn't impress me. Didn't impress me in that game. And it's going to be a long season if they play the way that they did. It was really, start, it was very tentative. Obviously, they're the new blood in the league. However, Fulham were able to still get a result against a really big team. Newcastle, impressive. I was not impressed with Nottingham Forest. They lost 2-0 to the Toon there. But it wasn't St. James Park. Now they're at home, the atmosphere is going to be pretty full on. Not sure if West Ham are going to lose, though. Not sure. I'm going to take West Ham here. Now, West Ham lost 2-0 to Man City, but we're still not that bad. City was just that good in regards to Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne's passing, and there's obviously that big gap between the two teams. I think if West Ham play anybody else on that day, maybe besides Tottenham or just besides Liverpool, they drew, I probably would say that West Ham would have won that game. But it was just that Haaland, the strides that he makes is just incredible. I'm backing in West Ham here. I think they should be bolters to win this game, but you cannot discredit Nottingham Forest at home. First game back in the Premier League for a very long time. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely rocking. It's going to be popping, and Nottingham will be bouncing. So be very careful about betting on this game with too much money. Be very, very careful. I'm going to take West Ham to win. Be very, very careful. Could have draw written all over it with a couple of goals in it because I know Nottingham will be on here. However, if they play like they did in that first game week, I don't want any part of them. I don't want anything a part of them in regards to that first game week. So I'll take West Ham there, and I'll say that Nottingham get a goal. I'll say 3-1. I'll say 3-1 West Ham there. Okay, we move to Monday now, Sunday for you guys in England, and it is Chelsea versus Tottenham. And I find that wild that Chelsea are the favourites here. I really do. They struggled to beat Everton. They beat Everton 1-0, but they struggled to beat Everton. They don't really have the attack going just yet. Their defence, obviously, Barcelona now, they've got their defence is not what it has been. Tottenham have just scored 4 goals. I know it was against Southampton, but they still scored 4 goals and didn't even utilise their 2 biggest players in Son or Harry Kane. Tottenham have not got a recently good history with Chelsea, however. They haven't scored, I think, in about 4 games against them. They haven't scored in a while, and they don't score many against Chelsea, but that was a different Chelsea team to what this Tottenham team is, and this Tottenham team is a different Tottenham team to what they have been previously. So I'm just throwing it out there. This could have a 2-2 draw all over it. It could have a 1-1 draw. It also could have 0-0 draw all over it. As you guys would have seen in my fantasy, I'm in a big call about my captain. I've actually gone Harry Kane as my captain. And because of that, I am taking Tottenham there. This is a big call here. At Stamford Bridge too, this is a big call, especially in a rivalry, a derby. It's going to be full on here. And like I said, Tottenham don't have the greatest recent record at Chelsea. But I feel like they're going to get a penalty. I feel like Chelsea will be in tatters in regards to the pace that Tottenham are bringing. They've got Richarlison, they've got Kulusevski, they've got Harry Kane, they've got Heung-min Son. They've got a heap of players up front that really do bring that pace. And then you've obviously got maybe Perisic who'll come in there and he'll get some more attacking manoeuvres going up there. Their defense is a little bit below the shop, Tottenham. To be fair, that's why I don't have any Tottenham players in my defense. But in regards to attack, I think Tottenham will be able to score here. So I think Chelsea will have to score 2 to keep in touch with Tottenham. I'm going to go Tottenham to win this game 3-2. I'm going to go high scoring game. I think Tottenham could still concede. Oh, no, you know what? 3-1's probably 2-1 or 3-1 Tottenham. It's 2-1 or 3-1 Tottenham for me. Obviously, would not be surprised if Chelsea win at all. Would not be surprised if Chelsea win at all. But I think that Tottenham just are a much more pacey team than they have been in the past. They're a better team than Chelsea right now, and I've got them for a top 3 finish, potentially even top 2 if Liverpool don't sort out their retinkering that they're kind of doing right now. So I'll go Tottenham here, but geez, that one could bite me really hard. That could bite me really, really hard. Okay, last of all here, we have Liverpool versus Crystal Palace, and you would expect Liverpool to bounce back here, and you'd expect Liverpool to bounce back very well as well, especially at Anfield. This is their first game at Anfield for the season. They struggled to Fulham at Craven Cottage. They take on Palace, who did struggle to Arsenal. But Crystal Palace's defense is very solid, but that's mainly at Selhurst Park for me. I think that they're going to win more games than they draw or lose at Selhurst Park. They'll be able to hold a lot of the bigger teams also at Selhurst Park for the most part. And I think Crystal Palace are a better team than the $16.50 odds that they're getting given on this screen right now. Liverpool, I'm going to take it. There's no way that I'm going to back against Liverpool at Anfield to start the season off as well. Surely they're too good. I'm freaking out here because I feel like, obviously, I missed out Mohamed Salah first week. I went with the 2 primo strikers in my fantasy with Harry Kane and Erling Haaland. And then I've also, you know, diversified the cash a bit more through the midfield and also the defence. And also got Alisson as the goalkeeper. So I want them to get a clean sheet here because I've got Trent, I got Alisson back in the defence. I actually had Robbo last week as well, but that didn't work out because they conceded. I want this to be a clean sheet. I'm going to go with Liverpool, and I'm going to say 3-0. I think their defence, it could be 3-1 though, but I think their defence is going to be too good. But I guess that kind of might be a little bit biased in regards to my fantasy there. But then again, I wouldn't get those plays if I didn't think their defence was solid enough to hold a team like Crystal Palace to a clean sheet. And I think that probably Mohamed Salah is going to kill it, and which is going to be painful to my fantasy team. But I do have Harry Kane and Erling Haaland, who probably should make it up. Especially with 1 million people transferring out Harry Kane. Hopefully that's a bit of a point of difference for me this week, which is crazy to say. Harry Kane, point of difference. Surely Liverpool wins this game. Surely Liverpool win this game, and surely they win it well enough. So I'll take Liverpool, and I'm going to go 3-0. I'm going to go 3-0. That's what I'm going to do. I think Palace might have a bit of a hoodoo, a bit of a bogey team thing with Liverpool too. I feel like that's a thing that the last 10 years has seen. I know the 3-3 back in the day when City obviously were able to win the league because Liverpool choked it away to Crystal Palace 3-0 up to 3-3. That was the Stevie G season. I think that might be just being, you know, reminded into my brain. But yes, I'll take Liverpool there, and I'll take them 3-0. So there you go, guys. That is my predictions for this week. We're going to be doing a Premier League punishments style streams this week, so when I get a tip wrong, I will do a punishment of some sort on the live stream, so definitely be there on the live streams. I appreciate you as usual. Obviously, let me know your predictions in the comment section below. Would love to hear it, love to hear how much you think I'm Muppet, because I am a Muppet, but I am going a few of the underdogs this weekend, and I appreciate you as usual. So hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, catch you later, see ya.